been trying to type earmuffs.
Hey, the first time we're starting early.
I didn't want to go to bed this morning.
Same.
Good morning and welcome to the Hodge Pack, sports, life, and everything in between, right here on 106.9 The Country Giant on Black Friday. Hope everybody's stuffed, recovered, leftovers ready for lunch today. It's Hodge, it's Josh, it's Misty. Right off the bat at the 7 o'clock hour, kids are sleeping in, not adults. Josh is dressed, ready for success today. Disappointed he's not in the deer blind. Misty's disappointed she doesn't know how to set her alarm correctly, and I'm just excited to be here. We've already freaked out a couple of Black Friday shoppers, but it is good.
We did. It was great.
It was really good. So, as you know, again, we're in the Potosi Live studio, hanging out downtown. Not anymore in the Mall of Abilene. People are here. My parking spot was not available today.
You had to actually park in the lines.
Yeah, because there was
Sort of.
Yeah.
You did kind of okay.
I did a lot better than last time.
You did not block oncoming traffic. You're right.
Hey, and that is why knowing is half the battle is so important for this show. Is you are able to learn. It's educational along with the sports. There's so much to talk about it. So, but again, we're here. Lots going on. Football. We all have a lot to cover. We're excited. We've got Josh. When you were at Wiley, did you ever get to play Thanksgiving football and have a Thanksgiving practice?
Yes.
So those are exciting.
One time
at band camp. He got one time. I was available to do that coaching at Merkel one year. Did not get it playing, no offense, but the team was in the football players when I was on the staff. A lot of football teams getting to do that yesterday, this past week, and have games tonight. And so one of those is Coach Josh Stanlin, who will be joining us at the bottom of this hour for our Big Country Electric My Town segment, the head football coach at Jayton. As they take on the defending state champion Benjamin Mustangs tonight in a place we're very familiar of, Misty. They're playing in Hermleigh tonight at 6 o'clock.
Oh, there's that H word.
Playing in Hermleigh tonight, along with a lot of other teams. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but it's fun. I mean, high school kids and a lot of buddies that are out there still coaching. Holly, Albany still carrying on their state championship defense today, as though Albany will play Munster. Holly will play Sonora, and of course Abilene High is still playing, and so a lot of other folks still playing. Coach Mullins out in Toller. So anyway, high school football going on, college football this weekend, big weekend, a lot of things to decide this weekend, and of course the NFL all day yesterday. The NFC, I thought it was interesting. There was not one AFC game or AFC team played yesterday. It was all the NFC, and we're going to talk about who was the real team, who was fake, what did you get out of yesterday. I know you were probably busy because you were hosting yesterday, right, Josh?
Yes, I was.
And so did you get the chance to watch all three? I mean, what was your...
Well, yes. I mean, the Detroit Lions game is it's the during lunch game, so like the TV's on but muted, and then obviously, we set aside time to watch the Cowboys, and then the 49ers Seahawks was, I was watching it till I was like, well, this isn't much of a game. And then went about just – actually, I had to put the Christmas tree last night since I wasn't going to be there today.
Oh, wow.
You sound thrilled.
Well, there's a height requirement, I guess, for putting up a Christmas tree.
And nobody...
I don't know what people do if they've lived in a house that no one's tall. I mean, but
well,
I guess you have to step louder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
step ladder. Because Tracy nor I are what we call tall. I mean, Molly comes to here, so I don't have a chance. So, so you got to watch them. Misty, what was you were with the Kings, right?
I was, yeah. We were with the Kings at Kyle's house, and we had fajitas, so we didn't have a traditional meal for dinner.
Turkey fajitas.
Yeah, right. So
there's probably a such thing out there for the people.
I have made turkey fajitas before.
And
well,
have you made them again?
Well, no, because
Okay.
There's a lot of story to that. But when I was in college, I would go hunting often, which I still do that. But every time I shot something, I would just cook for everybody. And one thing about wild turkey, not the whiskey, but the actual bird, they're not really that good, So I've learned that you can make fajitas with basically anything because you put a whole lot of seasoning in it and marinate it for a long time. And then, so we had wild turkey fajitas.
That sounds interesting. Well, I mean, I guess you see that all the time. People that are hunting, you get that, whether it's you get a deer, they turn it into anything. So
Right.
Yeah.
I guess you could do the same thing with turkey because they've obviously made bacon and sausage out of turkey. Might as well make fajitas out of it. So y'all went the non-traditional yesterday.
Yeah, it was great. And yeah, we had salsa and I made guacamole, but I did have to, throw in some traditional items like the deviled eggs that, Hodge will never try unless the monument gets brought to Hermely. Then he said he would try one.
That is true. I did say that. That is true. That is
Try a deviled egg.
Yeah, he will try what he says is a dirty diaper.
That's what it is. The white thing's the diaper, stuff in the middle is the dirty.
I would have brought you one of mine, but they were all gone because they're that good.
I want to say thank you to all the callers of the Kings that ate all of them because I didn't have to. I am very greatly appreciative.
And then we had some man candy, clay made. It's like caramelized bacon, very good. I think y'all probably had it that he's made at a gathering before. And I made a couple of chocolate pies. So I was actually busy. It felt like we were hosting, even though we were going somewhere else. It was super busy.
Well, we were at Tracy's grandmother's yesterday. I ate the traditional stuff. I had ham, dressing, macaroni, a little corn casserole thing, and of course rolls.
Wow, you branched out on the corn casserole. Proud.
It's really loud outside.
Well, because people are shopping, Josh.
I know. We could scare a lot of people.
I was really thinking you might just be in line at Best Buy on the way in. Maybe. Where's Josh? Oh, he's in line at Best Buy trying to get another TV for the
I thought about going into Ulta. I'm not gonna lie.
It was weird that it was all open up.
I know, it is weird.
Well, because there's normally not. I mean, it's
well,
us.
there's no one here, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the walkers, the mall walkers, and we still can't wait to get the mall walker interview. We'll be starting that in the new year.
Yes.
Because we want to know what they're doing and see how hard.
I want to know who is the most dedicated Mall of Abilene walker, and how long have you been doing this?
Well, and I want to ask, how much do you judge the other walkers?
Is that part of it? You walk by them, and
I think
you
so.
judge them?
You're sizing them up.
Well, I guarantee it they are. They're checking them out where she all just starting to now walk. You know why?
This is my 57th lap.
Yeah,
homie.
Yeah. Get here early if you want to be up with us.
Yeah.
There's probably mall walking gangs like West Side Story, I bet. So anyway, let's dive into our Lawrence
Let's dive into something else.
Yeah, it's all funny games till Josh joins one of those walking games. Our Lawrence Hall Headline Report brought to you by Lawrence Hall, who has a Black Friday sale. Everybody has Black Friday sales. So does Lawrence Hall. So if you need that, you want to be a part of that commercial where the car randomly drives by itself through the snow, give them a call because they never show a driver. It's just gets remote control. But check out Lawrence Hall. They'll be glad to take care of you. Just real quick, Texas Tech basketball wins yesterday in the Bahamas, 72-70. College football, the only game that you turned on the Egg Bowl at all, Josh?
No.
You didn't catch any of the Egg Bowl? No desire? Well, it was a good thing because it was not much of a game. It was 17-7, Ole Miss taking care of the Mississippi State Rebels, 17-7, the lone college football game on yesterday's slate of football. And so it wasn't really it was tough to battle. I mean, sometimes they separate that college game where it's by itself. Unfortunately, it was not. It was along with San Francisco and Seattle, who I thought would be a little bit better game. We'll talk about that more in the next segment. But again, that's what took place. A couple other things last week. Another OC has been fired. Matt Canada's first time since 1941 that the Steelers have fired a coordinator in the middle of a season. So Matt Canada's out. We'll see if Kenny Pickett can help with there. Josh, the other thing we got to do, we got 4 minutes left. I want to talk about this. Is Josh, until there's really not a time to stop talking about the Texas Rangers, but you have some news about the Texas Rangers and the World Series champions.
Oh yes, I read yesterday that the playoff share, which I mentioned before, is one of those things that you don't think about. That the bonus pool is split up between not just the players but the employees of the Texas Rangers, and the share came this year to $506,223. And so that's like, obviously, if you're Corey Seager and you're making $33 million a year, another $500,000, that'd be like, you get $1,000 on your Christmas bonus.
Change.
You're like, okay, yeah, that's good, but it's not like,
he literally became Jelly of the Month club.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But if you think about that trickles down to like, the trainers on the medical staff, that are probably making, 75, 100,000 a year.
And the bat hot.
And yes, and down to the bat boys, the clubhouse attendants that are washing the towels, so for those people, getting that $500,000 check is, that's like
life changing.
yeah, that's
for
pay
those people.
off your mortgage, put your kids
Yes.
to college,
Yeah.
It's literally for them like winning the lottery, because yes, you've played the lottery a little along the way, and I learned this yesterday. So my cousin-in-law, his future brother-in-law, which he's gonna get married in January, was or is the bat boy for the Texas Rangers. So he found out yesterday as well, at 26 years old, here's a check for $506,000.
Wow.
And the other thing he's going to get is a ring. All these things. And he didn't get to bat boy on the road, but he traveled with the team. And so at home, he bat boyed, and on the road, he was just Emily Jones watching the game like we were, except with a lot better seats and on a private jet, and $506,000 richer today. I think that's pretty cool. Emma was saying he would get tips a little bit, like they'd have a tip day.
Mm-hmm.
They throw it in, hey, pass the plate, here you go, take care of the
clubhouse guys, the people that are helping out.
And yesterday was a big payday.
Yeah. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting news when I read that yesterday, and just how like I said, just life changing that is for those people that are just doing their normal 9 to 5, that are just
the
happen to be working for them.
The bonus you're not expecting at all, and you think about it, it's pretty cool. Those are the things I'm assuming happens at other World Series champions, but the fact that it did happen 2.5 hours down the road,
mm-hmm.
we get to see it and learn about it, and the Rangers are the gift that keeps on giving. And so anyway, that is our Lawrence Headline Report. We're actually going to try to get the bat boy, and I had a bad text out. I'm sure that might be part of knowing that about who's kidding. All right, but if you're listening, 40 seconds. All right, if you're listening, or if you come by the mall while you're listening, we're on the show till 9. If you come by the mall and you knock on our door, we're right across the street from Chuck E. Cheese. We may have some gifts for you. All you got to do is knock on the door. I'll be knocking on the door. And that little,
I actually was just thinking that.
Three's Company?
Yes.
All right, so speaking of Three's Company, we had 3 football games yesterday. We're going to find out who was real, who was fake, what did we learn yesterday, and did we learn anything about the Dallas Cowboys, the Detroit Lions, or even the people that were not supposed to win that did. We'll talk about that right after this.
My phone updated yesterday, and it's asking me, like, every time I open an app, if I want to add it to calendar.
Oh.
I don't even know what, I don't know
what does that even mean?
What's up, Clay? There you go, get a little stretch, Clay.
Oh.
Do you see that every morning, a little stretch, Clay?
He does. I set my alarm. I thought I was setting it for 6. I did set it for 6, but I also set it for 5. So my freaking alarm went off at 5. Ugh. I'm an idiot.
I went off at 5 too, and I then immediately was like, because 5 is when I normally get up on Fridays when I have to get the kids ready and delivered. But when my alarm went off at 5, I was like, I don't have to get up that early. I'm going back to sleep. I'm going back to sleep.
Oh, we could lift some of those up, Greg said. Maybe we could just retape them.
It's getting louder and louder out there.
I know. Hey, see if there's any tape in there, Josh.
Oh, there's more than just water.
Stop tape.
We just got to tape it back.
We are like, can we interview you and just tell us why you're here this early?
We could. Hey, breakfast boy.
That boy.
Misty, go see if there's any tape in there.
Yeah.
There's got to be some of the same tape that they put this up on.
We accept drop-offs at our state-of-the-art safe and secure facility. We are the DRI Shredders, and we are here to assist and serve you in the destruction of your most private documents or any of those annoying boxes that have stacked up over the years. Give us a call, 325-232-6918. Come on out and see us at 3602.
I don't need to eat for the next week. I ate so much food yesterday.
I didn't eat supper, but
Yeah, I just feel like gross. But I didn't eat breakfast, and I had like a few French fries. Clay went and picked up Whataburger because his mom came over, and we were just like getting stuff ready. So I had like a bite of Colin's burger and a couple of fries, but still, I still feel like I overdid it. Woo! Oh. I love that you're still looking.
I want to see the people.
I want to be where the people are. I mean, yeah, this would have been great if that was down. Because this is going to be the only time that there are people here this early.
Well, now I think you could promote it because the mall is always going to be open.
Right, but in terms of like shopping and like doing things other than being in a mall walking gang.
Hit golf balls on the driving range, play 18 holes, and go enjoy a delicious meal of cold drinks with friends. Head to 1166 Midration Drive, Mulligan Sports Bar, Grill, and Golf. You'll be glad you did.
For some reason, I thought I saw the red tape dispenser somewhere.
I haven't seen it.
There's no crying. There's no crying in mortgage.
Yeah, I have not seen it. Any tape dispensers.
You deserve a team of mortgage experts. You have your
I mean, if we
best
took it
interest
off,
visit
yeah, I don't.
ColemanBank.com and let us help you make your next move. If you are looking
I don't
for
know.
a mortgage team and a league of their own, Coleman County State Bank is the place for you.
Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
We're back.
We're going to. Well, they got 4 new mics that are coming in. They're supposed to drill in, so that's exciting.
That is exciting.
We just don't know when. Hodge, Misty, and Josh here with you this Black Friday morning. Welcome back to the Hodge Pack. As we keep rolling through on this Black Friday, we got people walking by, shopping down here in the Mall of Abilene. Be sure you get over here and go check out some folks here in the mall. A lot of stuff going on. Get yourselves, take care of folks. Don't forget our Oh You Didn't Know celebrity guest picker. Guest picker will be Dr. Kim Patterson from Restore Wellness Center. He'll be here today in our 8 o'clock hour. So we picked some games, a lot of high school games on our pick sheets this week. And of course, there's a few college games, big college games. We'll talk about those a little bit later. But I want to talk about yesterday, Josh, Misty. Again, it's all about football as we know it. Football is part of Thanksgiving, and it's always there. And they've started adding, having to start, there you go, Papa Cole Top. Papa Top again. You can hear that here right on 106.9.
He is like all over the karaoke today.
Yeah. Well, it is, yeah. And so, anyway, football, huge yesterday. They've added, used to is just Dallas and Detroit playing somebody. They added a 3rd game last night. They've added a Black Friday game today at 2, which I'm going to assure you they thought 12 months ago it'd be Tua versus Aaron Rodgers, and instead it's Tua versus, I think, Mr. Boyle or
Yeah,
It's not Zach Efron. He is not playing anymore. He's actually now the third-string quarterback. But yesterday we had actually 3 pretty good games, but 2 of them were blowouts. With the nightcap had a chance to kind of be close. Seattle could never get anything going offensively, and then they took care of business. San Francisco did what they did. The first game,
it's because you picked the Seahawks to win the division. You know that, right?
yes, I will send them the same letter I send everybody else of apologizing. But the 3 games, they set the stage for the first one with Detroit and Green Bay. Detroit being on fire. Detroit had a tough game against the Bears, divisional game, but found a way to win. And again, they talked about the enthusiasm that Detroit has, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. They're leading the division for the most part, have a pretty handleable lead or sizable lead. But then Jordan Love comes to town and finds 3 touchdown passes. They get a defensive score. Jared Goff fumbles 3 times. One of them is a scoop and score. And the Detroit Lions lose 29-22 to the Green Bay Packers. Of those 3 games, and I want to dive more into the Dallas Cowboys game more so, but of the 3 games, who do you think was the most legit and real on who they actually are? The Cowboys win, the Detroit loss, or the 49ers win?
I think all 3 of them were. I mean, I honestly think that the role that the Lions have been on, I haven't felt like was sustainable. I do think they're a good story, and they're probably going to win their division and all those things. But I do think that they are a step below, the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the 49ers as far as in that hierarchy in the NFC. And so I think they kind of proved that yesterday, having a home game flop, one that they were expected to win, and had all the momentum and just the feel goods going into it. Then the Cowboys did exactly what I expected the Cowboys to do. They throttled a bad team at home, which they are very, very good at that. And
13-0, and they've won 13 in a row at home, which a few years ago they had a hard time winning in that state.
Right. And they've also won every home game this year by 20 or more points. So it's so that game played out, how I would have thought it would. And then, the 49ers, it was same story. I mean, I think that they are an elite team in the NFC after making me doubt that by, losing 3 games in a row and not looking good while Deebo Samuel was out. But then they're just better than the Seahawks. And that game played out. And Geno Smith was hurt, so maybe that could have been a better game had full speed Geno Smith, and there are a few plays that kind of went awry for Seattle that could have allowed them to at least keep it closer, but
Mr. Dallas needs to learn to jump on a football.
Right, and there's some things that would have made that a better football game, but I still think that San Francisco was just better.
Yeah, no, I agree. Other than I was really surprised with the Detroit Lions. I've kind of been on that train the last couple of years, and I really did not see Green Bay coming out. I mean, Detroit was due a loss, but I just did not expect it to be from Green Bay. I really didn't. So that surprised me out of the 3 games. Dallas, the first quarter, I was like, okay, what are we doing? And then at halftime, I'm like, get it together. And then, they turned it on. But the beginning of that game, I was like, are we going to mess around and lose this game? Like, they just didn't look great the first half.
See, I never felt like there's a chance for us losing the game because I felt defensively it would have been similar to maybe some of the other games where you didn't have to play good. The defense would have been good enough to win the game. I mean, Sam Howell has been sacked more time than groceries across the street at United this year, 55 times. Yesterday going in, the closest to him was 14 behind that, and that was Zach Wilson. And so Zach Wilson's not playing anymore, so he's not going to get sacked anymore. But I thought Dak was going to have an off day because he had CeeDee Lamb and just overthrew him. And it had another deep ball overthrown. I thought, well, maybe we're just going to be a little bit off today, short week. And then real quick, Dak reminded us, Because really, even in the Philadelphia game, should he have not stepped out? Yes. Can he not take the sack? Yes. But for the most part, he's actually played well, even in that Philly game.
Oh
Yes,
no, I
absolutely.
agree.
Yeah.
He has played well, and the other two losses were the only games that the Cowboys offense really just did not look good.
Yeah.
You know, and so and that Philly game is one of those that you know, and we talked about it a lot. Obviously, a couple plays go the other way, and Dallas wins that game, but they are still on the road against you know, premier opponent, and you know, keep it within the margin of error, you know, as far as like you know, win or losing. But then yes, I never. It was one of those things that game yesterday was kind of hard to get up for, because I just never thought it was going to be much of a contest.
Well, and if you'd have played any of the other teams, obviously San Francisco, but in Detroit couldn't have been because they always host too. But even if I think we'd have played the Packers or the Seahawks, which we're going to get the next, any of the other teams would have been one of those games that you thought you'd have to play a little bit better to win.
Mm-hmm. I agree completely.
And so I guess what I got out of yesterday's 3 games is I do think, and I agree with you, Josh, the thing about sports is we always overreact. We always overreact because we either, oh my gosh, we lost, like the San Francisco loss, the blowout. We kind of freaked out. The Arizona game, we should have freaked out. But like even yesterday, I think what helps us understanding more about Detroit is that they almost lost to the Bears the week before. And so now if you're Detroit, I'm not saying you start doubting the playoffs are going to be there. I mean, you almost have to, literally implode not to make the playoffs. So they're probably going to do that. I think the one that you have to start wondering, does the Packers get confidence to maybe go catch? Because, yes, Josh Dobbs has been a great story, but Jordan Love is your starting quarterback. So you might have a chance to actually go catch them to get into the playoffs. So do you think Jordan Love submitted himself as the future quarterback for the Packers?
I think he has. I don't know. Jury's still out on how good of a future quarterback he is, but they're not scrambling for the exits as far as like trying to, get him out of there and somebody else in.
Right.
So he'll be allowed time to kind of develop and see where he can go. And the interesting thing on the other side, Jared Goff has been, he's been very up and down, and he's looked like a premier franchise guy some, and hasn't others. Obviously getting traded out of the Rams situation so that they could make a push for the playoffs. It was kind of a ding on his career. And then yesterday, he really just didn't have a very good game. 3 fumbles
lost.
But
yesterday ended the Cowboys' bad team schedule. It does now. It starts the gauntlet. Even with Seattle. Yes, banged up. Good thing is they're coming to us. You got 3 straight home games, which you need to make that 13, 14, and 15, because you go Seattle, Philadelphia, then you go up to Buffalo, then you go out to Miami, and then you get the Lions at home. And again, I think right now one of the biggest things that you want to try to do is, yes, you can go catch the Eagles, because the Eagles now also have the continued struggle, or the gauntlet, if you will. They've got Buffalo this week, and they got San Francisco next week. So if you can find a way to get there, because I think not only would it be nice to be number 1 and obviously get the bye, finding a way to stay at the top of that wild card spot where you would have a chance to host a playoff game. Because they could still, if I'm not mistaken, because San Francisco would get the number 17, Detroit would get the number 16, and no, we would still have to travel. Is that correct? We would have to go to probably New Orleans?
Well, I think so, because the division winner gets the home game, and the wild card teams.
Yeah, that would be it.
Road.
So we would probably end up, but I would rather go to New Orleans than have to go to San Francisco or Detroit.
No, 100%.
So I know that's obvious, but I'm just saying that's why these next gauntlet games have both. Who's going to survive it?
We're about to see what the Dallas Cowboys are really made of.
Because I think Dak has elevated himself into the MVP talk. We can't not talk about Bland. Oh my goodness, they set the record yesterday. 5 INT touchdowns, just set the record. It was fantastic. So I think the biggest thing that we took away from yesterday, one, we got out healthy. Nothing crazy happened yesterday injury-wise. It's no different than a high school team. You got to stay healthy. And then that you get ready to roll and get a little bit of a longer break, extra day to rest, and get ready for Seattle.
Yeah.
Because I do think that's going to be a game that you can kind of – because right now you're playing a playoff team. There's no longer, well, they got a terrible record. They're not any good. You're going to be playing your first playoff game, your first playoff record team of the year with the problem – not of the year, but of playing your best football. And if you can figure out a way to continue that going, I thought McCarthy through the play call well was yesterday, did a good job. And if I am Aubrey, I ask after every touchdown if we can get 3 false starts so that my extra point is longer and he won't miss it.
He is incredible.
He's incredible from field goals. He struggles at the
Right,
PA.
Yes,
he's
yeah.
missed a few lately, and that one yesterday had.
Was
I don't know
weird.
how, I don't know anything really about kicking, but it was like spinning sideways, like
Yeah, like how?
parallel to the
It
ground.
literally
I don't know like what happened.
It was
But
like-
he has been incredible.
It's like he shaped it.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage you to follow his wife on Twitter. When we come back, we're going to head up to Jayton and we're going to dial up our Pest Patrol phone line as the Jayton Jaybirds get ready to go against the Mustangs.
I did not stop yawning.
All right, I'm going to call.
I'm just like, I'm still wore out from being sick. I had a fever for 6 straight days.
I know. What was ever, I mean, just,
I don't know.
that's so crazy.
I mean, I had a double ear infection, but I was negative for COVID, flu, and strep.
Golly, yeah.
But
I will tell you this, Josh, and I didn't know how to tell you to your face. So I'm going to tell you to now. When I saw you coming out of your pickup and coming to talk to me, you look still pretty pale and white. I was like, are you okay? Do you need it?
well, I just got the steroid shot, which made me feel better. But see, like I went on Friday morning, I didn't go to the show, and I went back to the doctor because I was like, I'm not getting better.
Right.
And they gave me a steroid shot. But I went to the doctor at 9 o'clock. At 6 o'clock in the morning, I had taken 2 Tylenol. At 8 o'clock, I took 2 Advil, and I went to the doctor at 9, and my fever was still 99. And then they gave me a
that's
steroid
crazy.
shot.
I guess we're going in here.
Yeah, gave me the steroid shot, and I went to the pharmacy to.
Morning. Just one second, Coach. Hey, look for some tape and let's see if this last hour we can get all fancy. Or just see if that you think that Scotch tape would actually work. I could go get some from Lowe's later. Hey, sorry, Coach. How's it going? Oh, I'm good. We're just rolling that commercial and we'll get things rolling. I'm going to check real quick on our streaming. I'll be right back. Hey, if you don't find any, I can go buy some. We're gonna just take them down. I'll go to the float.
Don't touch it, move the radio.
Yeah, it just makes you want to touch it. But if y'all want to take it down, I can go to Lowe's and then put some back up. All right, Coach. Can you hear me? All right, so you got the Mustangs tonight. I thought we'd talk about continuing the year. Were y'all 12-0 last year at this point when y'all were playing? Okay. Okay. And then, of course, we'll talk about this year, maybe the difference of 8-4 to 12-0 this year. Of course, the stability of you being there, the success you posted it on your Facebook page, just being what y'all, being competitive and everything, I think helps. And then how do you focus on not playing the state champion, the Rigdon kid? How do you focus in making sure your kids believe that you are? Because one of the things I said when I did the radio for Wiley is that you got to believe you belong in that field as much as anybody.
Absolutely, yeah.
So this is our last commercial, and then we'll be ready to roll.
Okay, great.
Okay. Yeah. Old Harmony, they were the topic of last week's show.
Oh, it's so crazy. That's so real. That was a good friend, man. That whole deal is crazy.
Yeah, makes no sense. I mean, even if they were paying for it, it wouldn't make sense. Yeah. I can assure you, I would do it in a heartbeat. All right, here we come. We're coming back. Welcome back to the Hodge Pack, Sports Life and everything. Give it 20 when you hear that. You know it's time for our Big Country Electric My Town segment, brought to you by Big Country Electric Cooperative. We appreciate them and everything that they do for their members each and every day. And joining us on our Pest Patrol phone line, and be sure Pest Patrol, Weldon Debbie, 673-6700. If you have bugs or anything that are bothering you, give them a call or a text at 673-6700. But our guest up here on our Pest Patrol phone line, and we're highlighting the local player coach program, and today Coach M program. The Jake and Jaybirds are moving on. They got to have some turkey practice, not eating, but actually on the football field. Coach Josh Stanley joining us. Coach, I appreciate you taking the time this morning. Well, Coach, everybody dreams when you get into coaching, get into playing, is to be able to have football not only in November, because everybody gets it at the last regular season game, but turkey football is a special day, a special week of practice. And before we get into that, Coach, let's just talk about the importance. We see all these other schools and pros that get rid of coaches early and colleges and all this, but just how important stability is in the program, the respectable program that you've been able to build there in Jayton.
I appreciate it. I've been really fortunate. This is year number 17 for me at Jayton. Year number 14 as the head football coach, and I think stability and consistency. I think it's huge. And when you've been here as long as I have, the kids kind of now run through our community program. Our kids start learning the J and doing what we do in 3rd and 4th grade, and it's our terminology, and I coach them, and just the ability to build it and watch it grow, and obviously it's special to me being from Jayton, being born and raised here, so it's extremely personal to me, and so just to have the opportunity to be here and to be here as long as we have, and get to see it grow to the point now where I feel like we've truly built a program, and not just in football, but in everything. We have an athletic program that is now a contender in everything, and year after year. It's pretty fun.
Well, and you mentioned being from there, and of course the head basketball coach Blocker being there, and just being able to do that. And we talked last week about bringing a monument back to Hermley and how important it is that when you start developing these, because it's not like the residential areas just continue to grow in Jayton and you've got subdivisions piling in like in Frisco and those places like that, but continuing to have families that love Jayton and grow in Jayton and want their kids to be a part of Jayton, to me says a lot about the community.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I think just about everybody in the school, we talk about all the time. Nobody ends up in Jayton on accident. You're here on purpose, and so everybody that's in our school, for the most part, has ties to Jayton, and so I'm coaching a lot of guys whose dads are Jaybirds, whose dads played for state championships, and And yeah, it's a special place. It's a great place to raise a family. And you mentioned Ron Blacker. It's a big part of the reason that he and I fought so hard to get back here. We grew up here and went to school here from kindergarten all the way through, and we're able to do that together. And so for he and I to be able to kind of do this thing side by side is extra special.
Well, and because what the funny thing is it's almost like a relay in track. You get the kids, and then you pass the baton off to Ryan, and then y'all pass the baton off to spring sports, and those kids get to continue to be successful throughout the year. And so it's a special place, and it's really good when you get that batch of kids that y'all have had over these last few years. And so what would you say has been the biggest difference? You mentioned during our break, you were 8-4 last year. Now you're 12-0, and kind of maybe what is that difference that's made that, added the 4 wins, taking away the 4 losses for the 23 Jaybirds?
I think the biggest thing is just some growth and maturity. We were extremely young last year, and we're still young this year. We're going to start multiple sophomores tomorrow or tonight. Last year, those guys were freshmen and very talented, but they were freshmen. And the guys that we had last year were sophomores are now juniors, and we only had 2 seniors last year. We only have 3 seniors this year, and so we've been young, and so just those kids growing up and adjusting to the speed of high school ball, that's been big. Another one is just we had a phenomenal offseason just in the weight room and then the way our kids competed in there. The way that we grew physically was huge when we had kids. Put on a lot of weight in the off season and over the summer, and good weight. And we're a lot of it here faster and stronger now, but the kids believe. We dropped 4 games last year, week 1 to May, who was, the May Tigers are always good, and some kind of throughout the year that maybe we felt like we shouldn't have, just we're right there and couldn't quite pull it off. And then to draw more than the area championship, they scored with 7 seconds left to beat us in that game, which prevented us from playing Benjamin last year at this round. So, biggest thing is just another year of growth. Again, our kids were hungry and had a really good offseason as well.
Well, and you mentioned it, losing to Throckmorton, not getting a chance to play Benjamin last year. You get to play him this year. And looking at, again, shout out to Cody Coyle at Big Country Blitz. He does a really good job covering everything. And says Jayton is the last team to beat Benjamin in 2021. And so, Coach, there's no secret that's what's on the other side of that, on the yard line in Rigdon and the Benjamin Mustangs. And so, but how do you not focus playing the defending state champion and understand that you deserve to be on that field, your players deserve to be on that field, and as much as anybody? Because when I look at it, it's not a David and Goliath. It's 2 really good teams. And how do you get ready tonight to stop a kid like Rigdon, along with everything they got, but just believe your kids believing in, what, we deserve to be on this field too?
Yeah, well, first off, obviously, just hats off to Benjamin and Nathan Hayes and what those guys have done. Yeah, they won 27 games in a row. We know that, and Grayson Rigdon is 41-0. We've seen the numbers, and he's incredible. He is incredible. Like I said, this is 17 years doing this for me, and he's as good as I've ever seen. Not just coaching him, but as good as I've laid my eyes on. So he's a phenomenal football player, and we're going to have our hands full. But I'll tell you, our kids set a goal this summer. We started some work last first of June, and when we set a goal that they want to play for a state championship, and and that's what our goal is. And every week we talk about it. Whatever opponent it is, the next opponent that is in our way of achieving that goal. And this week is the Benjamin Mustangs, and our kids know. Again, we have total respect for them. So our kids expect to win the ball game, and I expect to win the ball game. And as called the captain, we know that's going to be. We see the David and Goliath talk and all of that, but when we said all year long, whenever we go out and we play to our standard, and when we expect a lot of our kids, but when we play to our standard, when we play Jayton Village football, it doesn't matter to us who's across from us. We feel like if we can do that and we can go out and we can compete how we want to compete, then we can go toe-to-toe with anybody. And so, and that includes Benjamin. And so we're really excited about it. Obviously, it's going to be a tough task tonight, because they're really, really good and making. The possibility that we're going to catch Bridgman in the quarterfinals, and that's what we can hope would happen. And a great opportunity for our kids tonight to go compete and kind of show what we're about. And we're fired up for it.
Well, and I think that's the other thing, Coach, is as much as it is, and you're exactly right, saying the right coach things of being a tall task for y'all, but it's also a tall task for the Benjamin Mustangs, because it's, you know, you guys are coming in averaging 58 points a game and only giving up 11, points per game. So they know as well as anything. And, I mentioned it. I don't think it's David and Goliath. I think you got two, because I don't like Goliath because he loses. I think you got two Davids. And so I think that you've got that. And I think the fact that sometimes when you play with sophomores and you got playoff experience already under your belt, I think a lot of times, sometimes even the younger the kid, because they don't care who's on the other side. I think these kids today, maybe, I don't know if less intimidated is the right word, but I think they start believing in themselves. So I think that the fact that you've got this, and you should have two good teams this late in the playoffs. I mean, every once in a while you get a team that finds a way to get through and they get hot, but this is what people should expect, not only in football in the playoffs, but the great six-man football that's in the big country. I know you're a little higher up in the big country, but this is the kind of games that people should expect in this round deep in the playoffs.
Absolutely. And our kids are pretty good on the big stage. They a bunch of these guys, were the state runner-ups in cross country a few weeks ago. A lot of these guys played for the state island, in basketball last spring as freshmen, and as sophomores and as juniors. And so now, these kids are coming back and, they're good on the big stage. The lights usually aren't too bright for our kids, and they show up when it matters.
Well, Coach, again, I know Fridays, even if after no school today, but it's a big game day, and so I appreciate you taking the time this morning. I've always thought of a lot back in my coaching days at Roby. I've always thought of you and Ryan a lot, and the programs that you guys run. And so hope everything goes well tonight, and the Jaybirds find a way to keep moving toward Jerry World.
Hey, thanks so much, Coach. We appreciate you.
All right, Coach Josh Stanley, getting ready for the Benjamin Mustangs tonight. It'll be 6 p.m. at Hermley. Feel free to go. And, of course, again, always hashtag bring the monument. When we come back, we'll open up Misty's bag right after this.
There's no better place than Lawrence.
Hey, thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Hey, my wife and I may try to make it out there tonight.
Hey, we love it.
All right, man. Take care. Good luck. What's it? Bye. 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 What's up, Cole Ward, Mom, Clay?
You're missing one of the best atmospheres around. With amazing food, great drinks, live music, TVs to watch your favorite sporting events. The Potosi Live team will make sure you have an experience that you're going to tell your friends about. Check out PotosiLive.com or go like them at Potosi Live on Facebook for their upcoming live music and ticket events. Head out to Potosi at 897 FM 1750 for the Potosi Live experience.
Fancy Church. Tailgates go way past post game. Sunday night open times are over. No relaxation. This team. Everyone in my family uses electricity. But when it comes to our Touchstone Energy Cooperative, we all think about it the same. Co-op is power. Sure, electricity turns the lights on, but power is an innovation. Not efficiency, safety, knowledge, and trust. Because we are the co-op.
You were the most important part of Big Country Electrical Automotive. Call Starlight offices in Logan, Snyder, and Stanton, or visit online at bigcountry.com.
Oh, look at that one. Little spillage.
My exact thought was like, all this is more expensive, and how it's affecting me is I'm not putting as much into like savings or like buying toys,
Right, yeah.
But then I was like, but there's people that's the difference in like they weren't doing that anyway.
No, and now they're
and
further
so-
behind. Yeah. Like way further behind. Like insane.
I think if I do this right, there's several problems with that statement. One, you think.
Yeah.
2, if you do it right.
That's funny.
I still just don't find this place presentable. That's the only problem I have with that.
That's what I said. I'm like, we gotta.
Let's put it back up. Shit.
No, it's fine. Leave it.
I mean,
They can only see this. They can't. I mean, they're not
it's like a
seeing.
rat's nest of wires.
We need to. Like even just moving all of this stuff, like it back there somewhere,
Yeah.
and like, those chairs and stuff. We can. It wouldn't take much to.
What are we talking about now? Black Friday?
No, we got her bag.
No. Black Friday is the next hour.
Yes. Yeah. After my bag. Can we just talk about Dolly and how there is a 77-year-old floating around that looks way better than me?
Well, okay.
Tracy thinks it's a bodysuit of some
Well,
sort.
it was a body.
Well, of course, but still,
But she was having a hard time standing up.
she was. She kept like holding on.
She was holding on for dear life.
Because she did look like her grandma, like walking down
But
the
still, I
church
want to look
pews.
like that.
Well, welcome back to the Hodge Pack, Sports Lab and everything. In between rocking and rolling this Black Friday, we got people walking the mall, people walking away. Josh still battling back. We appreciate Josh going hard. A few days off of battling, but finding a way to get through and doing well. And so appreciate Coach Josh Stanlin. Again, he'll be in Hermley tonight, along with the Jaybirds to take on the Benjamin Mustangs.
Jaybirds.
I wonder why is this saying naked as a Jaybird? Anybody know?
I don't.
I
I've never
don't
seen
know.
Jaybird wear clothes.
But are they
Even-
naked?
Mhm.
Like, are they naked?
No, the Jaybirds are not. No. But have y'all never heard that saying?
They play football naked. It's very strange.
No, I mean, like,
naked, naked.
does the
really
bird
is.
have feathers?
A Jaybird?
Yeah. What is a jaybird?
Oh, a blue jay?
I mean, yeah. See, I don't know.
Well, I don't think it's a blue. I don't know. It's a Jay. There is the blue jay, obviously the blue
Yeah.
jays, but the Jaybird are black and gold, and I'm confused now.
I'm so confused. But I mean, if they have feathers,
Maybe
they're
we
not
should Google
naked.
Jaybird and see.
I'm
Just
gonna
don't
do that.
Do not Google naked Jaybird because that
Well, I
may
mean, I
come
don't
out with
know.
a lot of things.
Maybe
Let's
that's
see.
a specific type of Jaybird.
Yeah.
There is a hairless cat. We've seen that on.
Those
Austin
are
Powers.
freaky.
Yes, they are. They should not have been. I say that.
Jaybird. Here we go. Images.
Mall Wi-Fi just went down.
You can get one for $19.63 on Etsy.
A Jaybird is naked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go. It's got feathers. It's not naked.
Oh,
Okay, well,
I mean, it's not wearing a tie or anything, but here we go.
It's here to party.
Yeah.
It's
It is a blue. It's actually very pretty.
Oh,
Blue
it's a blue jay.
jaybird. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a blue jaybird.
Oh, there you go.
Very pretty,
Well,
but
Jake,
yeah.
Jake went black and gold. So good luck to Jake tonight.
Cute.
I hope Coach Stanley and them find a way to keep rolling. We've had Coach Hayes on too. It's tough when you've had all these different coaches on, but it should be a good game tonight in Hermley, along with the other games across the big country. But now it is time to
Shout out to Mulligans because they fed my family yesterday for Thanksgiving. We were at the Kings. All the lovely Kings were there, and they fed us. So shout out to them.
That sounds like a movie. All the lovely kings.
All the lovely Kings.
Do they have fajitas at Mulligan's?
No,
Not
I don't
yet.
think so.
Not
But
yet.
honestly, after what I had yesterday, they should totally put it on the
And
menu.
honestly,
it was delicious.
Back to the shout out for Kyle. Kyle's not only one of the owners, but there's days he's back there cooking and working his tail off. And so shout out to Kyle.
Yeah. Does all the things.
Yeah.
And Jeannie was there.
So
So
my
great
point
to
is
see Jeannie.
the fact that
Sam.
he made fajitas
on
at
his day off.
on his day off is a plus, and he may have decided he just added another menu item to Mulligan.
And they've got all the specials this weekend. They've got Caleb Sutton, and then Abby French is playing tomorrow. So lots of things. They've got really great specials. You know, you wear your team swag and get beer specials, $2 draft, $10 buckets. You can't go wrong. So we love Mulligan's and always appreciate their support of the Hodge Pack. So here is the question of the week. Which past or present athlete are you inviting to Thanksgiving dinner, and what are you cooking to impress them?
I can probably answer Josh's, and I may be wrong, but I'm going to try to. I thought I didn't know the athlete, but I think I do. I think he would try to bring Nolan Ryan. And even though it'd be a gamble because Nolan is all about Nolan's beef, I think Josh would do some type of, obviously, either brisket or, honestly, tell me if I'm wrong. This sounds so weird, but it's cool and how cool of friends that we've become over West
Okay, all right, I'm ready to burst your bubble.
I'm ready to watch this go down.
The only reason I'm kind of confident in this is because you dominated this a few weeks ago. The brisket tacos that you made that were like quesadilla formed looking.
Oh yeah, the Bria.
I think if you would have had that for Nolan Ryan, he would be impressed because he's a beef guy. And I may be wrong, but that's what I would think.
Well, that was
they were
the first. That was
fantastic.
the first time I ever cooked that, and it was something that I thought on for a long time.
Because even like when the how y'all decided to put the tortillas in that sauce or whatever, when you dip them. Yeah, that's what
there's
Okay.
there's hand motions.
So are we
you
doing
can't
this?
see on
Are
the
we
radio.
are we answering what we think the other
Well,
one? You just put a different spin on Misty's bag.
Yeah, that is not a bad answer. But see, here's my, and no offense to Kyle and the Kings, and I'm sure the fajitas were great. I can't do Thanksgiving without it being like the
Traditional.
like Thanksgiving meal.
Can you go non-traditional for Christmas? Because I know a lot of people do that because they don't want to go back to back.
Right.
Well, and we usually do a Christmas Eve Mexican food
So
dinner.
something
You know, so like,
something dinner or
Yeah.
something different
So-
before. Well, they had traditional at Meemaw's for lunch. So for dinner,
Okay.
yeah. So the Kings did go traditional for lunch.
and like I said, different strokes for different folks. But just for me, it's like when people have. I mean, I want,
I want what I
turkey.
want.
You know, because I did smoke turkey and ham. You know, and
How sweet was the ham?
it was very sweet.
I think that's the math.
Caramelized on the outside. You know, to the point where like that first little ring is almost like eating candy.
Yum.
You know, so. But I don't. You're not far off. And Nolan Ryan would be way up on the list of somebody that because he's obviously a legend, and he's someone that I feel like you could just like have the classics sit around the table, and he could tell stories, and they're because he's kind of I mean he's kind of in the Mark Twain, Davy Crockett realm of like
legendary.
Yeah. Tell us, and you
Yeah.
can just listen to that. So I'm with you on that. But they're like that's a great question because there are a lot of
It's hard to narrow down.
Because you can only bring one, right?
You're only bringing one. I know Hodge always is like, okay, well, what about blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, it's one person.
And I don't know if you're having dinner with somebody. I think someone that has a knack for a good story, like the classic one that I'm sure that everyone's heard because they played it ad nauseum on the ticket was the snow monkey story. That if you haven't heard Nolan Ryan and the snow monkeys, you probably should just Google that and listen to it because it's comedic gold, and it's not even something that And this is what makes a true like good storyteller. It's like they're not trying to tell you a funny story, but it's just funny and the delivery of it and everything else. So yeah, I'll go with that answer.
Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, but it's a tough one because there's a lot of athletes that obviously you would just really you enjoy their career or the things that they've done, but I don't know how fun they would be to have dinner with.
Yeah, so you're you're going Nolan Ryan. As far as you just say athlete, right, or famous person, it's got to be athlete.
No, got to be an athlete. And what are you making the?
Oh, we're sticking with traditional turkey
So
and dressing.
Okay, turkey and dressing. Okay.
Some ham.
I think it'd be fun. He would have a hard time not being there. But I think I've got a couple of thoughts, and then I'll have to narrow down one.
Of course.
I think, and except when he got excited, Michael Irvin would be cool. And of course, shout out to our folks at Potosi Live.
Oh, I definitely think he could tell a good story.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Potosi Live again. Chris and Moy working their tail off yesterday at the tailgate at Cowboy Stadium yesterday, and I believe Chris posted 88 was got to hang out with them a little bit yesterday. So I think Irvin would be cool because he would get excited. You'd have to make sure you would be perfect because nobody lives near you. So when he got excited, he wouldn't interrupt anybody. Depending on how close your neighborhood is, when Michael Irvin got excited, he would probably erupt the neighborhood, and you would have to tell people to leave your house because they knew Michael Irvin was there. But I don't think it would be him. I'm torn between. I think Tiger at the house would be cool. Jack Nicklaus would be at the house would be cool. But when you start thinking about just one athlete, man, it's tough because Nolan Ryan seems pretty easy for you. Man, that is tough. I think I would.
I was trying to think who you'd pick, and I was like going through golfers because
I know,
figured
me
you'd pick a
too.
golfer.
Yeah.
But then I couldn't really nail it, and no disrespect to the world. They seem to have a whole lot of strong personalities. That
I don't know if some of those guys that go to.
the only strong personalities I see are douchebags.
Well,
DeChambeau.
I would not invite DeChambeau. Of course, there was a chance Dabo. I know he's a coach / was an athlete. I tell you I would probably invite, and I think it'd be funny, would be Jerry Jones. Could you imagine Jerry Jones around your table? That's not very good. Let me get my helicopter over here and we'll get something delivered. Man, that's tough and I don't know. We'd probably order.
I was about to say that you can't.
Yeah,
you
what
can't
are
make
you
bagel
making?
bites.
Chicken nuggets, macaroni and cheese.
Y'all good with air fryer?
He'd call Mulligan's and
Exactly
get
right.
the kids' meals.
We are going to have steak
Kids
fingers.
meals delivered.
Yeah,
It's going to be steak
that's
fingers.
what he eats there,
I know.
right? The macaroni and
he
cheese.
orders
Steak
up-
fingers, side of mac, and Texas toast. We're
He
good.
orders off the kids menu at 99% of restaurants.
So Mulligator, when you're with who?
Man.
You can't narrow it
Um,
down.
I start thinking about Cowboys. I think Troy Aikman would be cool to have at the house. But narrowing it down to somebody that's just my favorite athlete, fortunately, I'm going to look at it, I really don't have one. But when you start telling stories, I'll tell you who would be a funny one if you had Terry Bradshaw.
Terry Bradshaw would be a good one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Terry Bradshaw. I think he'd be fun. He would talk.
They talked about a lot about like John Madden yesterday too. Like he
Yes.
seems like somebody that you could just sit at a table with and just pull the string and let him go. Like
Misty, I want you, before you answer, we're going to pause for station identification.
this is like watching Hodge try to walk and chew gum at the same time.
Yeah.
He was like,
Well, I felt like I was going to cut
Old
the
man
wrong.
Rivers.
I felt like I was going to cut
Looking
the wrong.
like Dolly over there.
No, I felt like I was going
Walking
to
the
cut
tightrope.
I felt like I was going to cut the wrong rope.
wire
and
the green wire. Or yellow
so
wire?
we got to remember time wise.
Yeah, we would never pick you to cut the last wire. My money's on Josh.
Well, if he's wrong, we blow up. Either way,
It
Don't
really
matter.
doesn't matter.
yeah, it doesn't matter who's right or who's wrong. It matters who's going to be right. So I'm going to go with Terry Bradshaw.
And Mulligan's is
And
catering.
Mulligan's is catering.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so this this is really hard because I have a lot of favorite athletes. I think that I would have to go with Michael Jordan.
I thought you might say Romo.
Yeah, I do like Romo, but I think I would have to go. I just like Jordan and just some of the stuff he says, his swagger. I don't know. I just like MJ. So I think that I'd have MJ over. And yesterday I made sopapilla cheesecake for the first time. And let me tell you, it was amazing and gone like that. So apparently I make a good sopapilla cheesecake.
So apparently, if I go to your house,
Apparently.
I would like the sopapilla. I'm not a cheesecake fan.
It was delish.
There you go again.
See, child.
Do you like cheesecake, Josh?
Oh yes.
You would. I will.
Sopapilla cheesecake.
It goes hard.
One of my favorites.
Okay, noted. Got you,
Noted.
boo.
There's
Noted. I'll make you one.
Noted. There's the first one.
Because apparently I killed it yesterday.
There's your first one that would have gone with the text you sent us yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You tracking with me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh.
Good job.
Secrets don't make friends.
Oh, it will happen.
But friends do keep secrets.
That is true.
That is true, and we will explain that for you YouTube folks.
Please do.
Because we can explain that on this part of the airways.
So yeah, I think that's what I would do to impress, because I'm going to impress him.
Now, I do think, does it say it about our age or our personalities that all three of our athletes are no longer playing?
Well, but that's got.
But those
I
are
feel
the
like that
greats.
kind of has to go along with it because I'm sure there are some athletes that are currently playing that would fit the criteria. But my criteria, is, like I said, is someone that you could sit and listen to tell a lot of stories and be, like
Jimmy Johnson, he could come over to the house and tell me lots of stories. I want to know all about the beef between him and Jerry and how come it's taken so dang long for him to get in the Ring of Honor.
And we got to go to commercial, but how fun would it be if all three of us plotted and didn't know, but treated it like the movies where you're trying to get the parents back together? Josh and I invite Jerry. You invite Jimmy. And then we're at the table. Guys, we're going to leave y'all to it, and then we'll be back later.
Yeah, we've wanted this for years, but I'm so
wanted our
excited.
parents to get back together for so long.
Yes, but Jimmy would be a good one because if you've read Swagger, there's a lot of good stories in Swagger.
Yes.
And so he would actually be a really good one also to come over and tell all the stories.
I agree. So, great Thanksgiving will happen. Nolan Ryan, amazing food, traditional from Josh. MJ and some sopapilla cheesecake, and I'm sure a deviled egg. And then, of course, Hodge will be having Terry Bradshaw. Kids Meals, mac and cheese, all the things from Mulligan's. Shout again to Mulligan's. Kyle will be reaching out to you. We'll read some of the answers, and we're going to talk a little bit about college football, but we cannot have a show and not mention Dolly. We'll be back right after this.
We do need to talk about Dolly. Have y'all seen Dolly on a tamale? It's like Snoop on a stoop, Elf on a shelf, Dolly on a tamale.
I've never heard of such things.
Really?
All right, so yeah,
I don't care if she was wearing
Misty
a
from
Saints
Colby
suit.
Freeman. Can we talk about Dolly?
Yes.
Dolly, really? No, he said.
I am jealous of Dolly. I am jealous of a 77-year-old lady in a glitter spank suit. I'm not too woman enough to admit
Is that a Gatorade or just a lightning?
It's a lightning bolt.
What's prickly pear?
I mean, honestly, when she came out, I was like, damn. Like, seriously, I was like fixated on Dolly.
But it was interesting on how
she definitely didn't move well.
I don't know if it was her heels, if it was the stage, if it was her. But anytime she was near that star thing, she had her hand on it like this.
Yeah, and I glitter tights. Like, that was so cute. I mean, obviously, I know why, you're wearing those to make the appearance better, but kudos.
I don't know the answer to that, Colby. Was she singing live or lip singing? I agree, it doesn't matter.
I thought she might have been lip syncing, and we actually talked about it at our Thanksgiving.
I thought the first two songs and maybe she's already got an album cut with those different changes in. I thought she might have lip synced the last song.
See, I wasn't sure, but then the group of people we were with, they were like, no way, she's too much, like, she would never do that.
Well, I don't think it would necessarily be her that would do that if it would be.
but I don't know.
Harry Carey at the table. I would rather have Will Ferrell as Harry Carey at the Thanksgiving table, Clay.
It's Bobby Boucher. That's it. I'm changing my answer.
Dolly looked like an old cheerleader from the Cowboys' last Super Bowl win.
Yeah, I saw a meme floating around about that. I mean, 77, she still looked pretty dang good.
The irony is
The plastic surgeon, kudos to the up top. They did not move. They did not move. I watched them. They did not move.
Is that shout out to the surgeon or shout out to Spanx?
No, her, you know,
Yeah, her
her
Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, her Rocky Mountains literally did not move. So that's a shout out to the surgeon. Total shout out to the surgeon. I don't know. Maybe she just had them redone, but kudos, babe. I mean, obviously, you can't just get them done once in your lifetime, but hers looked pretty fresh to me. Pretty fresh. And I am not mad about it. You go, Dolly.
I just thought she looked sickly trying to walk around.
She did, yeah, she did look a little disoriented.
Just like,
Yeah. Maybe she had some shots backstage. I don't know. I'm not sure, but she.
it's like someone's gonna have to go get her, like take her. Have a
I mean-
silver alert because she's wandering off.
I thought she looked great. But yeah, she did hold on. So I heard a story about Dolly when we talked all about Dolly whenever she was performing, that apparently when she was a little girl, have you heard the story of why she dresses the way she does?
Mm-mm.
And the big hair and the big everything? Apparently there was the town promiscuous lady, also known as and she just thought she was the most beautiful lady as like a little girl. Obviously she didn't know that she was the town blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So and she wanted to look like her because she thought she was so beautiful. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
Cup of ambition.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack.
You're welcome, Josh.
Hodge, Misty, Josh, and Dolly.
Welcome, Dolly.
Welcome, Dolly. Again to our 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Coleman County State Bank. Working 9 to 5. As you know, when you think about yesterday, and again, we're second hour. Don't forget, Dr. Ken Patterson will be our guest picker. There was so much going on yesterday, football-wise, food-wise, and all that. But there were signs in the stands that said, "I'm here for Dolly." And Lauren, our friend Lauren, was there at the game. Found out 2 days before. Was in a suite, got to go on the field, all the things. But said Dolly was awesome. But a lot of our Facebook feed right now, and really the topic was a couple things. One, and I'm going to let you answer the question. Did you think she rocked the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader outfit?
You know, I mean, 77. I thought she did. I mean, most 77-year-olds probably couldn't even fit into that outfit. I don't even know that I could fit into that outfit. I'm going to have to borrow it from Dolly, but I thought she rocked it. You know, I don't care if she had on glitter Spanx or whatever all the way up. I don't know. When she came out, I was like, my jaw dropped. I was like, oh, hello, Dolly.
So you watched it.
Oh, yeah.
Did you watch the halftime show?
Well, yeah. I mean,
Okay. But there in years past, there would have been shows that I would not have cared to watch.
Right.
Because we're real good. Because really, I don't know the last time there was a country person singing a halftime show for the Super Bowl or the Thanksgiving one. It always kicks off the Salvation Army Red Kettle. And so, but I thought Dolly nailed it. I thought she was smart. She did Jolie and then 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't real sure if she rolled into.
She went into her rock era.
I wasn't real sure if she rolled into Queen because We Are the Champions. And then, is that what she ended on?
I can't remember what
I can't
yeah, I don't
remember.
know.
There's
But
some
yeah,
rock
she had
there.
some rock.
Yeah, and so I thought that was interesting. But we got people thinking, did she lip sync? The first two songs, I didn't feel like she was. But then I wonder maybe if the second two, because in the first two songs there was parts that seemed they had to be live and not from a recording. But then again, she could have obviously Jolene and 9 to 5 have been probably re-recorded a number of times. The original is not probably what they played yesterday.
Right.
But,
I mean, I don't know, any 77-year-old that can get up there half naked and rock it, like, I'm here for it, babe. Like, you go, queen.
she is only 5. Pete Carroll's only 5 years younger than her.
I mean, I don't know.
I looked at yesterday because Pete Carroll's 72. Dolly will be 77 in January, or 78 in January.
Like, I want to be Dolly. Like, I hope I can look half as good as Dolly when I'm so.
Restore Wellness is going
No,
to be.
I need, if you're listening and you're a good surgeon, I need you in my life. Because those things looked fresh. Let's just be real.
You may not need that because we can find out. Restore Wellness will be here a little bit later.
Yes. What can Restore Wellness do for me? Because I need to look like Dolly.
Dr. Patterson will be here a little bit later to tell you about that. But I thought the halftime was good. I thought Jerry and them did well. We didn't get a chance to talk to you about it, but what about the celebration? The turkey legs already planted in the kettle. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, it was clever.
It was cute.
And they all going to get fined for the turkey leg course. They can afford it. Jerry just actually, if you have any Texas Ranger ball boy friends, you can ask them for some cash to help pay for your.
I actually love when
fine.
they jump in there, and I love that they just all grab the turkey. I don't know. It was fun.
To me, I think you're stupid on the NFL's part if you fine them for that.
Me too.
Because the awareness that it brings the kettle alone is probably huge in that. And
But
so,
it is taking a prop on the field. I mean, you know.
the prop was there. I didn't take it anywhere.
No, like Dak took it all the way, like the turkey leg all the way to the
Oh,
bench.
Is it a
with
prop
him.
if it's not fake? Like it's food? They consider that, I guess.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but I mean, rules are rules.
Now, do you think the celebration for just a turnover, running all the way to the end zone and not scoring, do you think that's dumb?
Well, yeah, but that's not, you know.
Right. I think that's dumb.
When you keep running,
Yes.
Like
you recover a fumble and you tell all your buddies to come to the party at the end zone. I'm not a big fan of that. If you scoop and score, knock yourself out. If you're bland and you get your 5th interception for a pick six, yes, you
and
go.
how he runs with the ball, like every time that, and yesterday was a perfect example, making people miss, like breaking tackles, just like how's this dude not an offensive player?
Well, and that's exactly what somebody, I can't remember who posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, put. He just did that, looked like a running back, broke 3 tackles, had every opportunity to be tackled on that last
one. He was like, I am going for it. Like you could just tell nobody was going to stop him.
And got the game ball, and rightfully so. And so one of the things that we wanted to talk about, and we'll talk about college football because it is a big weekend for college football. But Josh, I put on our rundown, Misty, Black Friday, because this doesn't have anything to do. You still have no one half the battle, right?
Maybe.
Okay. All right. Are you? Well, we'll find out.
He's like,
so Black Friday has kind of lost its luster. Now we've seen a lot of people. We appreciate everybody coming through the mall. We saw a lot more cars when we pulled up today. But Black Friday used to be a thing. We talked about it last week. 2 in the morning, stores would open. Some people might even be open on Thanksgiving later that night because they knew people needed to get out of the house. But are you disappointed that Black Friday has kind of lost its luster because everything goes on sale about 2 months ago?
No, because I never was a participant in Black Friday. I mean, very rarely would I go. I had friends that did that. It's never been my thing. I do love to shop, but I did some Black shopping yesterday during halftime on my phone. So, fun because now everything goes on sale.
Right.
So what did I say? Y'all are laughing.
Again, we'll go to
I was like,
2 in a row.
okay, I have no idea what's happening.
Hey, and what's great, you didn't even have a burrito.
Well, it's fine.
I'm literally like, what I say?
I think it's interesting in the sense of like, Black Friday obviously a contrived thing, that was the official start to the Christmas shopping season, and so understandably all the retailers want you to jump out and spend your money first with them, so that and because obviously, especially now with the way inflation is, we kind of talked about that earlier, there might not be as big a slice of the pie to go around, so they're trying to get out there and get that. And so it's only natural that it keeps moving farther and farther out. We were about this yesterday, how Thanksgiving, used to be the official start to like the Christmas season, but somehow now it's turned into Halloween.
Yeah.
Like the day after Halloween, suddenly it's like
people were like putting up their trees.
Christmas lights, and every commercial break has some Christmas caroling song,
In 2020, put them up early because they were tired of COVID and wanted some joy in life.
Yeah.
But you're exactly right. It's like Thanksgiving is the true middle child. It doesn't really get appreciated. Maybe a little bit on the day of.
Yeah.
But you're right, Josh. Halloween, boom, Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm
Why
not
is
here
it
for
called
it.
Black Friday? Is it because it's like pitch black when people are like out at 2 a.m. or I don't know. I'm gonna look that up.
I
don't know why it's called that.
The original Black
I'm gonna
Friday
Google.
is when the stock market dropped in 1929. So
Right. I don't know where that correlation is.
All right, Misty's gonna
I'm gonna Google
check with our
that.
research department. We call her Google. So what are some other things that have lost its luster that you miss that are not there? Did that question make sense, Josh?
Oh yeah, it made perfect sense.
What-
There are a lot of things that I sit and think randomly about how things have changed that you could say for the better or it might be for the worse, depending on what your outlook is on it. But the way that technology has advanced and things are pushed nowadays, a lot of the things that I really enjoyed as a child, and then especially into high school and early college, is when I think the cell phone was the first thing that really changed how you generally went about doing things. But one thing that you can't do that when I was a kid you could do, and it was fun, was prank call people. Caller ID came along sometime in the 90s, and that really put a kibosh on the prank calling.
But even the star 69 or star 67
well, yeah,
or whatever.
you could get away with it for a while, but now I don't think if you call somebody with a block number, it's just not going to answer. So
or nobody's going to, for the most part, answer it if it's not in their phone, because
Right.
they assume it's a car warranty or a cruise that they didn't qualify for.
Yeah, or those random voice things that are just trying to get you to talk that I hear, trying to like modulate your voice and then use it against you later. Which I don't know if that's really true or not, but have y'all heard that?
Yes.
I don't know.
I've got the definition if y'all would like to know.
Of course.
Starting in the 1980s, retailers nationwide also began claiming Black Friday represented the time when they went from operating in the red to the black as sales boost profits. But since many operate in the black at various times of the year, this interpretation should be taken with a grain of salt, experts say. There you have it, America.
Expert.
Good job.
Boom.
So,
But I will tell you the number one thing that I don't think walk uphill to school and snow both ways type of moment. I don't think kids these days will ever appreciate the way that I used to appreciate, that would change my entire high school and early college existence had this not been a thing. And that is just cruising around to find out where your friends are.
Yeah, like the drag.
Well, right. I mean,
did y'all have a drag?
Yes.
the
I mean,
drag was North First here in Abilene.
But like, yeah, that is, yeah.
right. And that was
Trying around at the Sonic.
Yeah, I, as for curiosity's sake, I did go to the North First, drag like maybe once. But I'm talking just like on my, farther south, just it's Friday night, non-football season, maybe Saturday night. You had some activity, whether a extracurricular or church thing or something like. You get done with that, and your friends are already out hanging out. You know, like because you're a little late to the party, so to speak, and you don't know where people are. You know, because they're just out and about. So you truck, and you just like kind of leave your house. And I had this kind of pattern, like I'll swing by over here and see if anybody's at this guy's house, and if they're not there, I'll go over here. They might be over there. If they're not there, I'll go to Taco Bueno on Buffalo Gap Road because there's a solid chance I'll know somebody that's at the Taco Bueno.
Taco Bueno over there, like was actually one of the places, I guess you would say, South Side folks.
Yeah, I
What's
mean,
that?
you could just show up at the Taco Bueno, and most likely you would know somebody.
Or
there.
when the Chili's first came out, that was also the other.
Chili's
place.
was
If you could
a
afford it
standby.
that night.
The snow cone stand that was across the street from Taco Bueno during the summertime, that was in. Now it became a Bahama Bucks, and now it's like Alfredo's Mexican food. But that was so the just going cruising, trying to find where your friends are, is something that you don't have to do it anymore because you just text them or call them. And in fact, if you want to get real creepy, I've talked to some people that high school kids now do all these like apps that location so you can like really pull up, which I think is super creepy.
Or
just
Snapchat.
pull up your phone and flip
Shows
on the
the
map, and
location
it'll
of
show
people.
you like, well, I'll just drive over there.
Yes, we got to go to break pretty quick.
I think for me, kind of along the same lines, just remember whenever you were just home and like a random doorbell ring came and you were like, oh, it's and they want to play in the street or whatever. It was like you never knew when somebody was just going to drop
people did
in.
actually come to your door and just ring the doorbell.
Now they
Pop in.
text.
Yeah.
Now they text and say, hey, can Sally come out and play or whatever. It's just different. And same thing with like mail. Nowadays you get an email like, hey, your order's on the way. I used to love checking the mail and getting something from grandma.
Ordered something.
Yeah.
Obviously, Amazon has made it to where like you order it and it's there 2 days later. But used to, when you'd have to fill out that little paper in the magazine and put it and mail it.
Yeah.
And then
get it back.
The day that whatever you bought showed up, it might be 2-3 weeks. You know, and then
you almost forgot about it, and then boom,
you check the mailbox when you started getting close. Like maybe it's here today.
Yes.
Oh, it's not here.
See, that was so much fun.
Yeah. And now you get an alert on your phone.
Right. I know, you're like, awesome, cool. Yeah. So I miss that. And like when, grandma would send a Christmas card or like Christmas money or a gift or something, now you know that it's on its way.
Well, I want to give mine when we come back, and then we'll talk a little bit of college football, and then we'll have no one house about it.
Yeah. Like these are so stinking cute.
I don't really have no one that's half about. Really, I have some.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi.
Sorry, I had no idea you were there. Josh Green. Nice to meet you, sir.
Hi, I'm Steve Collier. Nice to meet you.
How are you?
Good.
All right?
Good. You?
Good. Normally on Fridays there's not this many people, but Black Friday there's still a pretty good little crowd.
Yeah.
We're still moving into a house. We still have engineer people doing some stuff, and then we all full-fledged down here. So we got a couple of segments, and then before we do picks, we'll talk the store and plug it. And go from there. So, did y'all have a good Thanksgiving?
Oh yeah. How about you?
It was good. Ate the normal stuff. Had the leftover ham biscuit, which is always one of my favorites. Is the ham biscuit sandwich. Right? So it was good. All right, so we got college football. All right. Give mine. College football. Trying to think what we got left.
What? Yeah. 8:28. So what? 2 segments?
So we get this one.
Yeah, just skip me today because we got to talk college football. There's several things I could talk about, but not anything that I'm going to.
We could go, answer what he misses. Yours was good. The answer machine, his answer machine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was good.
That is one too, because
And like, voicemail or
you
whatever.
didn't have a cell phone. You come home and see if someone calls you.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, but I do remember my thing was the first time I ever had one my own was I was in college. I mean, I didn't have my own personal answer machine at the house when I was in high school. We didn't. I mean, I think we had one, but it was way at the back, and But when you came into college, if that light was blinking,
so we got.
Y'all are gonna tell me what I said too, because I didn't think I said anything funny.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, later. But yeah.
But we got the kids' phone lines.
Oh yeah.
And so we had our own answer machine, but it was also the modem line. So if someone was on the computer, you couldn't get phone calls.
Yes.
Or if you pick it up and it said,
What about the clear phones? Like, I feel like all my friends had like those clear, you can see all the wires.
oh,
I don't know if y'all did it being guys, but
do you
I
remember
remember
when?
seeing that.
but like all of my girlfriends had those.
Do you remember when Sports Illustrated had the shoe phone? Like if you subscribed to, they had that. If you subscribed to Sports Illustrated, one of the things they sent was the shoe or the
You
phone
sit
with
it
the
on,
shoe.
you pick it up, and the buttons are on the bottom.
My freshman year in college, I was working at Grand Central Station, and I didn't give my right number out very often, but I did. And the guy called me, and when I got home from work, my answer machine, and I was so excited that he left me a message. That was fun.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack as we're rolling along in our 8 o'clock hour, brought to you by Coleman County State Bank. Give them a call or head over to Coleman, there it is, ColemanBank.com. ColemanBank.com.
Radio operation.
ColemanBank.com. Before we get into college football, because again, a big weekend, a lot of things that are going to be discovered and really, I guess, mapped out, if you will. It's still kind of weird on where we're at, but Josh misses Dragon, cruising, trying to find your buddies. Very good point. And for the most part, it was almost like deer hunting. You at least knew where to go.
Oh yeah. Had a few places. You stopped by those, and when you struck out on those, it was like, well, I guess I'll go home now.
Right. Because you don't want to go back and have to call on the land guys where you're all at. Hey, mom, I'm leaving again because you're probably in for the night.
Stuck.
Yeah, you're in for the night.
Yep.
Misty, yours was.
I think
mail.
Just mail and just like ring the doorbell that you don't know was coming over.
Right, they would pop in.
Yeah, your friends coming to play or whatever.
One of mine is, and I guess a lot of it is because all of us are in a member customer world, and we're members or customers today. But there used to be an appreciation and understanding of the not getting right back to you. Number one. Number two, coming, and again, I mentioned it in the break, not so much during high school. I remember it as being but when I was in college, my first 2 years at Midwestern was where I went to college first, and in Hodge Simmons as well. Cell phones really weren't a big deal yet. I mean, They just weren't. But when you would come in from class, or you'd come in from the weekend, or you come in from the day or whatever, and you go into your dorm room, and the little fancy phone had that red light blinking, and you knew somebody had called you. And not only did they call you, they liked you enough or needed you enough to leave a message. And so you would check it and get your voicemail, and then maybe it was the girl you were hoping that would call you, or it was your buddies telling you where they were going to be or whatever. But in all that, there was an okay and understanding. It was cool to get the message. But there was also an understanding that if I didn't call you back within 10 minutes or a day, that it was okay.
We were still friends.
Well, there was a general.
Nobody was mad.
And that is what one of those things that, and I think this is encompassing in a lot of how, like I said, not sure if it's a good or a bad thing. We were talking about earlier when you were on the phone during the Big Country My Town segment, how now if you're out of the office, like, because I was out sick for literally a week. It's the sickest I've been in a long time, and so I was back this week, so I'm filling up a bit. But you're still working because you still get your emails. And you're kind of expected, maybe not officially. I mean, maybe your boss won't be like, "Oh, you didn't respond to that email when you were on vacation," but you feel like you needed to,
and you've got to put I'm sorry, the office. I'll be back on such and such
But
day.
just general
And it's like you can't just say
patience is gone.
it's gone.
Well, and I think for us, like we're lenders, right? A lot of times, if we don't take a call, we'll miss a deal.
Yeah,
If
it'll
we
go-
don't
it'll go to
answer,
some-
they're
to
going
the-
to another
Yeah,
lender.
it'll go to the next guy.
And that's what's sad in our industry, but that really is as bankers in lending. If you don't answer and take that time wherever, you're going to lose a deal,
Well,
but I think
which is very frustrating.
I think that goes across the table.
well, yeah,
That's
that's
why
everyone's
fast-
that impatient.
Right,
And
exactly.
that's why Chick-fil-A probably ticks off a lot of other fast food places, is because or other restaurants that take care of their customer or their dine-in person. It'd be no different. We're gonna have Dr. Patterson on here about every entity. If you don't take care of them in a way that is pleasing, your Yelp reviews, your
Yeah, they're
Facebook
on to the
posts, all
next.
that.
Yeah.
And so the expectation of that person, one, if they're buying a house or buying land or trying to sell their house because they're getting out of it or whatever it is,
And
it is a big deal.
well, and the trickle down, which I've noticed with my kids, and something that like I said, you sound like the old man. And it's like I walked to school in the snow uphill both ways. The on-demand television, where like everything is there, and the streaming stuff that there's no commercials and things like that. Think back to when you were a kid. If you wanted to watch cartoons, it was just Saturday morning, and maybe something right after school.
Right,
You know,
and that was it.
And that was it. Yeah, like
But I'm gonna
the whole
tell you-
rest of the time, you were just like at 6 o'clock. The news was on every channel.
Yeah, these
You know,
kids don't
like-
know.
But
They don't know.
in Hulu and YouTube, and I think you can a little bit, but they've got to the point where you can, but they don't let you over fast forward through commercials. If
No.
you're
Yeah,
watching live.
they've stopped the.
They've not allowed you to.
Like a minute and 15
Yeah,
seconds
you
or
have to
something.
watch
yeah,
the ad.
you have
They're
to
gonna
watch
say-
it.
Yeah.
and in there,
And not gonna lie, it annoys me.
Yes.
Because I pay
Well,
$80
no,
a month
there,
or
there,
whatever.
there
for
are
it.
shows that I have stopped watching because I get to the ad break and it's like your show will continue in 1 minute and 30 seconds, and I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
You know,
But see,
like,
but the only thing is that you have to understand and appreciate is probably they need some of that.
oh well,
to
they
an
do because
extent.
people stop watching the ads, and then
And
Right.
then now your Hulu subscription or your YouTube subscription now has to go through the roof possibly. But anyway, that's one of the things I miss is the little red light blinking coming in from into the dorm. And now you just get information all the time, which is fine. But
We can, yeah, you can never unplug now.
and another thing, I want to go on to college football, which I can transition. The other thing that I miss is the importance of the daily paper. I want, yes, I'll look up scripture on my phone, but I want the Bible in my hand, and I would much rather have the newspaper in my hand, flipping through and looking at sports and stuff like that. So I do miss that. I miss getting up on a Saturday morning. Hey, look at that Roby calling in right now. Appreciate the call, Ed. We're gonna.
oh yes, because part of that growing up thing with the tradition of that is on a Saturday morning, opening up the newspaper, and it was always on the inside flap, so I guess like page 2 of the sports page, where it had sports on the air, and it would list
TV, radio, whatever
every
you
Yes,
game that
yes.
you could like look through there and make your plan as to what you want to watch and what channel this game was coming on and that type of thing. Where now it's just sometimes I think harder to find like,
Right? Yeah.
but
Oh, for sure it is. Well, speaking of college, speaking of radio and knowing what's going on, tomorrow you can catch the LSU Tigers as they take on the Texas A&M Aggies, who bounced back after their firing of their coach and beat ACU last week. But they have LSU this week. You can listen to it right here on 106.9 The Country Giant, 10 o'clock. So Josh, let's talk about college. We got about 5 minutes left and just want to talk about college football and how this week is big. It's not the conference championships, but it sets up a lot of conference championships. The Big 12, of course, tomorrow the big game is Ohio State and Michigan.
mm-hmm.
And rightfully so. And Jim Harbaugh is not going to be on the sidelines, will not be in the stands, but they are playing at Ann Arbor. And we'll do our picks a little bit later. That game is on there, correct? Okay, good. But really the big game tomorrow, we've seen in the top 4. Florida State loses Jordan Travis. They get bumped out to number 5. Unfortunate for them. They got Florida this week and then eventually the ACC championship. But the Big 12 is still wide open, and Tech can have some of the to do with that tonight. Oklahoma State, you got a lot of people jockeying around on who's going to be in there. But what do you see transpiring as we head into this last year of 4? And really, I think we have a lot of congestion, like an I-35 traffic jam, when all said and done in the next 2 weeks.
Well, I think so, and I think that's kind of how I always like it. I like it to not be real cut and dried, because the more controversy, the more entertaining more games are. As far as
we want chaos.
Right. Because you still have 5 undefeated teams that are in Power 5 conferences. With Washington has a tough game this weekend. Florida State's playing Florida rather, with their backup quarterback, and that's a big rivalry
I really
game.
hate that. I've been on that train.
There's some problems that could arise there.
I hate that for Jordan Davis.
Yes, me too. Yeah, I hate that for them.
Georgia gets Georgia Tech, which shouldn't be much of a challenge. Their cross-state rival, and then the big one, obviously every year is a big game, but this year has for all the marbles, so to speak, because it sets up who's going to be undefeated, with that chance to play in the Big 12 or the Big 10 championship game. Obviously, either one of those teams went out, they're a lock for the playoffs.
And one of them's going to need to be the biggest Iowa fans the next week.
Right. And Iowa is one of those teams also that has a historically bad offense, but seems to not let people score. So they can stay in the game and maybe throw a monkey wrench, but. So we're going to be right here at the end with some teams having some will have losses, obviously, and then like Florida Florida State and Washington are not playing easy games. So there's a possibility that there is even more confusion. I think the powers that be would love for there to just be clear in a way favorites, no controversy. But I don't think that's going to be the case, and I hope that it's not, because I do love some controversy. And then you got Texas still in that mix, that obviously Tech wants to step and do something about with their big rivalry game, and the under the lights and all of that.
But it's probably the last time they play them.
Well,
at
least in the foreseeable future, which would be the send off that Tech would obviously love to send Texas with we'll guarantee you're not going to go to the playoffs.
And the Big 12.
And the
Big 12 that are remaining do not want that to happen. Because what you don't want to see is Texas win and
then skip town
and win the Big 12 and take the trophy with them to the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got Oregon playing Oregon State. Oregon State's got they're very good, and they've got a chance. They're playing today, and then Washington State. We have opportunity to have a lot of one-loss teams. We could this weekend in Georgia and Ohio State, Michigan be the only other undefeated teams. Then you have a bunch of one-loss teams,
right? Which opens up the door
what's
for.
Going to happen?
And then
you got Alabama coming back into that conversation at that point. You got Texas staying in that conversation.
Beat Alabama.
Right. So there's a lot of chaos if we have a grip of one-win team.
Does Bama get in?
I think Bama's going to have an opportunity to avoid a second loss, because they're going to play Georgia, Alabama, and then that's the other.
Well, if Alabama beats Georgia,
right?
It's no doubt.
Right, it's open.
That is the other thing. So if Alabama beats Georgia, then Georgia, Alabama's one loss. Let's say these other teams lose. Let's say Michigan wins, so they're the only undefeated team. Then Washington loses. You could have a big cluster, and then Florida State, unfortunately, without Jordan Travis,
I don't think chance.
I think it's going to be hard.
Yeah, it's just
they may have a hard time winning this week, and then
do they go undefeated and then get snubbed because they don't have their quarterback?
I think if they're undefeated, there's no way they don't.
They better get in if they are undefeated.
But here's the opportunity, because you're not going to have an undefeated team. You're going to not have. My 5 teams can't happen. They're not going to you're not going to have 5 undefeated teams. I guess you could have Florida State, Georgia, Michigan.
No, you don't have 4.
You can only have 4. You can't have 5.
Yeah.
So we can't have that. But you're going to have the other 2 best teams in the country only have 1 loss, and then you've got to make that decision. I just think there's no way, absolutely no way you can have a one loss. You can have an undefeated team sitting out in one of your Power 5 conferences. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about that, and then we'll have Dr. Ken Patterson going to talk to us a little about resort, and then we'll let him do some picking a little bit later. We'll be back for this.
We don't have a lot of time. We need to make sure we cut picks too short too often. So I think we need to just.
Well, the benefit that we have is we can cut any segment short that we want to.
I know, but it's 8:45.
I know. That's what I'm saying.